Just a day into the new legislative session, two lawmakers have introduced bills to address a controversial decision by the California Air Resources Board, or CARB. It comes after arguments that CARB's recent amendments to California's low carbon fuel standard will raise gas prices. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen has been following these developments and joins us to explain what these bills could do.
Well, Becca, in short, these bills would undo the recent vote by CARB and would provide more oversight into the board's decision-making process. Now, both lawmakers tell me it's clear that Californians are concerned about the cost of living, and the current low carbon fuel standard does not address those concerns.
ABC 10 has been covering it for weeks.
Madam Chair, the motion passes.
In November, the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, passed amendments to the state's low carbon fuel standard, or the LCFS. That program is meant to help lower the state's greenhouse gas emissions as the state continues its transition to zero emissions by 2045. It allows major polluters like oil companies to buy credits to prevent from being penalized from the state for polluting the air.
I was flabbergasted.
It was really a disconnect from what Californians want.
Republican Senator Brian Jones and Assemblymember Joe Patterson both introduced legislation to address CARB's decision that critics argue would increase gas prices. Jones introduced Senate Bill 2 that, if passed, would repeal the board's recent decision.
It has an urgency clause in it, so if it passes the Senate and the Assembly and the governor signed it, which would be great, then it goes into effect immediately.
Patterson's Assembly Bill 34 would require the Legislative Analyst's Office to analyze any new regulations proposed by CARB before any decisions are made.
Take a look at their proposals and then tell the legislature and the public how much that's going to increase the cost of gas or potentially the cost of electricity as well.
Last week, CARB board member Dean Flores told ABC 10 he welcomes additional oversight from the legislature.
Rightfully, they should get as many answers as they want from CARB, and I think they should obviously, oversight-wise, ask us to justify.
In a response to both bills just introduced, Flores tells ABC 10 he prefers more comprehensive discussion rather than one-off bills to grab headlines. While he voted no on amending the LCFS in November and disagrees with the board's vote, he says he'd rather focus on CARB getting things right and take gotcha politics out of cleaning our air. But Patterson disagrees.
This is the legislature's issue, and this is the people's issue, not some unelected bureaucracy in Sacramento.
So, Jeannie, we know Democrats are the supermajority party here in California. So how likely is it that these two bills from Republican lawmakers will even go through the legislative process and see the light of day?
Well, that's actually a major concern for Assemblymember Joe Patterson, who released similar legislation earlier this year to essentially delay CARB's vote, and he didn't get a hearing on that bill. Now, I did ask the Assembly leader's Robert Rivas' office how likely will Republican bills be heard if they do not have bipartisan support. I did not receive a response. Now, both spokespeople for CARB and the governor's office would not comment on the pending legislation, but the governor's office did say that bills will be considered by their merits if they do reach his desk.
All right, Jeannie, thanks. We'll continue following this.